All right. Welcome to week one of the NFL season, which means it is week one of the fantasy football season. So, as we like to do here at the Texas League podcast, we like to start things off with a kickoff question from Jared. What do we got today, Jared?
I actually had a different question, but I held a conversation doing work, and I was hoping that you and our other co-host would be here, but I don't. I think he's booking a last minute flight to Brazil to go watch the game, but I can't prove
It's a
that.
distinct possibility knowing him and knowing the kind of miles that brother has
Yeah,
stored with no the airline miles. I would not be surprised if that's what's going on right now.
but it's all right. We're gonna go with this new question that somebody posed to me, and I was gonna pose it to y'all, but you're here. You can give me an answer.
All right.
We got four wide receivers in a standard league. Which two do you start? T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton, Roma Dunze, or Ted McMillan. You got to start two of those wide receivers in a standard league.
Standard league.
Yeah.
Give me the four one more time.
T. Higgins,
hmm
Ted McMillan, Cortland Sutton, Roma Dunze. I know who I picked, but we're going to see if you.
I'm gonna say Higgins and Sutton because while Jamar Chase is a volume receiver, T. Higgins probably has half the targets. But when he has a catch, he racks up a lot of yards. So T. Higgins will have five catches for 85 yards, and Jamar Chase will have 10 catches for 120 and a touchdown. So in standard scoring, you don't really care about volume. So, and then with Cortland Sutton, I mean, as an Auburn fan, I've seen Bo Nix his whole career, and Bo Nix has a tendency to hone in on his favorite receiver and the best being the best receiver on that team, yeah, he's gonna get the bulk of the catches in that passing game.
Yeah,
So
I felt similar. I said that Bo Nix built a relationship with Sutton last year, and that's where he's going to go because let's be real, they're it's like you got a couple running backs back there. You're trying to work that out, but you plus they're playing Tennessee. I'm not so sure that that team is great. don't
well,
expect don't expect a lot out of Tennessee. Like
and why one wide receiver being dominant in a Sean Payton system is apparent. I mean, look at Mike Thomas. The man went from middle of the pack receiver to a Madden 99 to the 99 club and turned himself into can't guard Mike. So
this is true.
if you're wide receiver one in a Sean Payton system, you're gonna get the ball, you're gonna get a chance to do some things with it. So who was your other one?
I was going with I was my thing was I'm going with Higgins and I was going with Sutton. Kind of like you said, we were not worried about how many times you catch the ball. It's how many yards you get, how many touchdowns you get.
That's what's up.
And Cincinnati's playing Cleveland. So I have a feeling they're gonna try to make sure that they're gonna pick their poison and they rather get killed by T. Higgins and Njoku than Chase.
Yeah.
That was just my theory. Like, let's not let Jamar Chase kill us. We'll let T. Higgins and Njoku are the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. It also feels like like you said, pick your poison situation. So yep, those are my two. All right. All right. So due to unforeseen illness, our reigning league champion was not able to make our opening podcast this year. But as he has been known to do in the past, from what I understand, he has sent a statement. So let's hear what I'm sure will be a memorable word of wisdom going into the season from our reigning champ,
Uh,
Supermarket Crystal Ball.
uh, it was a very short statement. You know, basically all he wanted everyone to know is, as everyone knows, he won last year, and he said that the stranglehold will continue in 2025. That was it. Simple. I'm like, you know what? I told him I still don't believe he has a stranglehold on the
That
league.
that
But
that is a strong term he likes to use.
he
A
look, you know
stranglehold.
what?
But
He likes to use stranglehold. I don't agree with stranglehold.
so I would encourage him to use $5 of that of those winnings to buy a thesaurus because that word appears frequently in his statements. And as we heard the comment in the movie The Princess Bride, I do not think that word means what you think it means. So yeah,
Uh, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna let him have it. That was his statement. Like I said, we talked about this last year and his use of stranglehold. And no, I don't know. You know
no,
what? It's week one. We just gonna see what
it
happens.
was less of a stranglehold and more of a toxic relationship where you can't let go. Although somebody else tried to take it away, he eventually got it back as we went into the playoffs. But I digress. We shall see.
This
Me
man
personally,
said
I'm
toxic
making it my
relationship.
personal mission to not allow him to repeat because I'm still in the hunt for my first Texas League championship, as is our missing co-host, Dr. Deuce. So I'm gonna do my best to pry it away from him. So, as you know, fantasy football means fantasy drafts, and we see a whole bunch of crazy stuff that goes on. Like these dudes that do these international trips for these fantasy drafts, it makes me wonder, what am I not doing with my life so that we aren't ending up in Puerto Rico or the Maldives or, doing these Vegas style drafts. But then I also remember I have a life and I have a family, and I'm not dropping that much money on a fantasy draft. I will say that Ravens stadium thing was kind of cool and it wasn't a ridiculous price. What do you think about that?
I did see that. I think wasn't it like 950 for the whole thing?
Something like that. Yeah.
I think I looked like it was like if you just like for 12 people, I think it was like $75 each, which isn't horrible.
Nah, not when you get a tour, 4 or 5 hours of time, access, food. I'm sure it didn't come with liquor. Uh, but yeah, man, it's kind of a cool experience. And I wonder if it's something that we'll see from other teams around the league. Uh, because hey, it is a copycat league, and even though it's a small trickle of revenue, you never know when a trickle can turn into a river. So I think we might see more of that next year with more of these NFL venues. I can only imagine what the Cowboys would be able to offer, being able to draft on that gigantic scoreboard. So, all
You
right.
know what?
But
That
speaking
would
of,
be interesting. Some
right,
of the, we'll just have to see how that. We'll have to see
but,
how that works out. Like
but
because some of these stadiums make money year round.
yes, they do. But speaking of draft, we're going to take a look at two things right now. Uh, we want to take a look at, so one of the things that we do is that over, it's been 3 years now that we've been doing this, is that we do a redraft.
Actually,
Um,
I think this is the fourth year.
it might be year four. I think this is year four because
Mhm.
this was the third year where we've been able to do it live. Um, so yeah. So what also, Yahoo does their draft grades this year. So we just wanted to kind of look at what did Yahoo think versus the fantasy redraft. And it's the Going for Two podcast that did that. So that's something that they offer league. So if you want to look them up on YouTube or search them out on social media, shout out to Going for Two for reviewing our team's post draft. So we just want to take a look at a few highlights. Number one, who did they say came in 12? Jerry.
I, I believe that would be our missing co-host.
Now, I think that he chose that he all of a sudden had an emergency because he didn't want us coming on here talking about how not only was he ranked at number 12 on the Going for Two podcast, Yahoo also saw his draft as not so good and gave him a D plus. Not the worst grade. He didn't get the worst grade, but he did get a D. And for a man with his intelligence, I'm sure he was not so happy with that D grade on his draft. um, but I actually, and then they also gave the Big Green, who was tied for the lowest grade. Big Green was at 11, but the other person with the D minus actually came in higher than me. So, what do I know? um, this I said that this was going to be the year that I actually did a auto draft. So we're going to get back to that auto draft comment, but I think that ninth ranked is a little low for my team based on my draft results. I don't take it personal because, it's just an opinion of others. So I didn't take it personal. I personally believe that my team's a little bit better. I would have liked to see myself in the top five. But I will also say this, though. They did say that the teams that they ranked, I want to say it was like 10 through 5, that there was very little, like it was very close on their list, and that I was in that group of teams that was very close. So I won't take offense to that. All right. What about you? How do you think they graded you fairly?
You know, Yahoo gave me a D minus, which doesn't shock me because I went in with the theory I'm gonna take a lot of upside players. So either my team is gonna be real good when they blow up, or I'm gonna be having a fire sale here in about 6 to 8 weeks. You have to be realistic with yourself, and so I knew that Yahoo was not gonna grade me highly, and I knew that.
Well,
but I'm
going
like,
for two. Thought you
but I'm
did
like,
pretty good.
but people who actually look at it are going to look at it and say, okay, I could see where he was going. I thought I was going. I thought I'm like either I'm gonna be 12 or I'm gonna be somewhere in that eight. I'm like I thought I was gonna be in the bottom third of the league, like so between like 12 and 9. I came out at 8. I'm like okay, I'll take 8.
Right.
Because I've got a lot of I've got like Ollie Gordon. I got a rookie, and I got the Raiders rookie wide receiver who I think is going to take advantage of Brock Bowers taking attention and Genty taking attention. He gonna take the top off the defense a few times this season, and
Certainly
hope
hope so.
and hopefully I play him at the right time. He can be a bye week fill in and just. Then I got two rookie running backs in my starting lineup, so I knew Yahoo wasn't gonna like my lineup. My team is gonna be young, and if they blow up, good. If not, fire sale.
Well, it happens. All right. So our league champion was given a grade of A plus by Yahoo. So they really that kind of feeds into his whole stranglehold uh thought process, I guess. But again, going for two had him ranked just above you at 7. Uh, so yeah, I mean he's still got some strong pieces coming back from last year, but we'll see if he's able to get that team back into the playoffs and uh try to defend his crown. But the funniest thing to me is that we have one person in our group that auto drafts every year, and that is Muff Divers. Has he ever told you why he auto drafts?
This year he didn't actually auto draft. He actually appointed his son to draft on his behalf.
Okay, well, dang. I, now, can you imagine being one son in the house? Uh, is picks gets an A minus from Yahoo. The other one gets a D minus from Yahoo and an 11. So it's kind of cold blooded, man. Should have helped your moms too.
Supposedly one son was drafting for the mom, and one was drafting for the dad.
Well, with the D minus grade, it seems like both of them were drafted for the dad. Because that's kind of cold blooded, man. But
Maybe they said he needed some help. He doesn't have a championship, and she does. Or
right.
yeah. So it is what it is. We're gonna find out. Like I
And
said,
I
I don't.
don't and I don't want to leave the podcast out acknowledging the team that going for two ranked as the number one team that they would prefer to take over. and that is Acorn, who is a past league champion himself. Uh, Although he only got a C grade from Yahoo, I mean, he does have a couple of strong receivers on his team. He has Chase and Bowers, I believe, were his keepers coming into this year's draft. So we'll see if he can take that duo all the way to the championship this year. All right. All right. So, the thing that we love to do, of course, is us. This podcast is about putting a little bit of competition between the teams in our league. So we are going to go right into this week's picks. Let's see, I don't make it too big. All right. So let's start with our missing co-host. We have a matchup of last year's runner-up versus a previous champion in Mathis King versus Acorn. Who do you like and why, Jared?
Oh, I am going to go with I'm going to go with Eggcorn. I am. I think it's a close one, but I'm going to go with Jamar Chase in that divisional game. I think Mr. Chase is going to I think he's going to have a nice little game. I don't think he blows up, but I do believe CJ Stroud is going to have a pseudo shootout with the in that Rams game,
Yeah.
and that'll get some points. I don't Jalen Waddle. I think that Tyreek Hill comes in healthy, and that's going to leave it open for Waddle to. I think it's going to do some damage for allow Mr. Waddle to get off. And like I said, with that pseudo shootout between the Rams and the Texans, Kyron Williams is going to sneakily stack up some points. And
Right.
you know, I just because it's Mathis King, and I'm like, Patrick Mahomes in a divisional game in Brazil, stat wise, neither one of those teams performed well in their games last year, and I just don't think that Patrick Mahomes is going to. I think the Chiefs win the game, but I don't think that Mahomes has a great fantasy day.
I agree. Um,
Yeah, so I just like I say he got Mahomes and Kelsey. I don't see a great fantasy production now. They might prove me wrong, but knowing my luck, the Washington defense just goes crazy against Russell Wilson because
Multiple pick sixes.
just he pretends like his name is Jameis Winston and just starts throwing picks or something. Stranger thing. Like I think Acorn takes this one in a close one. That's just how I feel about it. It's week one. We're gonna find out.
Um, I don't think that it's going to be close, honestly. This is a what 7 point difference. I think it's going to be double digits. Number one, most international games are not high scoring affairs. Um,
Yeah.
it's different stadiums, different environments, different grass. Do not always put up, you don't always put up points. Brazil's a very, you know, um, a country that's going to have a lot of, what am I thinking of? I'm getting old. I'm losing words here. Humidity, uh, sloppy conditions potentially. So I don't know. I just don't see.
Three. Oh, hold on. I forgot to mention. I looked down and he got three Chiefs. So yeah, I don't.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. That's a lot. I mean, Butker's going to be Butker. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that Friday night game is going to be a high scoring affair. And as good as Justin Jefferson is, I think that the reason why Justin Jefferson ended up back out on the market this year instead of being kept like he has been the last couple of years is no one knows what JJ McCarthy is going to do as the starter. And so you're trying to shy away. You tend to shy away from wide receivers when you don't know if their quarterback is actually going to get them the ball. Like their skill is not in doubt, but if no one can throw them the ball, doesn't matter. So I also am going to go with Ed Corn. So we'll see who Dr. Deuce picks for that particular game.
He picked himself, of course.
Oh, he sent you his picks?
I do have his picks. Did you think
Excellent.
he was? Did you think in week one he was not going to pick himself?
He is a pragmatic man. I would not put it against him.
Not
Uh,
in week one.
so let's go on to one of the closer games statistically projected this week between Kirkwood and Muff Divers. Who do you like in this one?
Oh, that is a very close game. I
Yes, less than a point, really less than half a point in projected differences.
This one I think really comes down to quarterback play. I'm putting this one on quarterback play because quarterback play and does the running back Devon Chain actually play? Because he been questionable for a while.
Well, let's see what he says. Limited in practice. Uh, hmm. So he sat at he feels 100%, still listed as questionable. I think that I think if he can go, he'll go.
Yeah, if he plays, I think he'll be all right. I believe that Lamar and Josh Allen have a that's going to be the Sunday night game. I think that's going to be a good one. I think,
Yeah.
like I said, Devontae Adams in that pseudo shootout I was talking about.
Hmm.
I see that game starting off slow because it's week one. And then by the end, they just fireworks, kind of like that game we went to a couple years ago between the Bucks and the Texans. It started
Man,
off slow.
that game
Then
was so crazy.
all of a sudden they just
Fourth quarter, nobody. All of a sudden, the defense is just checked out in the fourth
yeah.
quarter.
Yeah, I am gonna go with Muff Divers because I I think Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts and he's gonna score his points, but I just don't like some of these pieces. I don't like Alvin Kamara because Spencer Rattler starting. Yeah,
Hmm.
no. So if I'm them, I'm gonna load the box. Plus, who you gonna throw it to? Uh,
Right,
Christian McCaffrey, if healthy, he should be healthy. It's week one, but never say never. I have a feeling he has a bounce back a Jace year, but I'm not ready. I wasn't gonna draft him if I had an opportunity. But going to what you said earlier with JJ McCarthy, let's give Aaron Jones the ball till we figure out what McCarthy does. Just feed him the ball.
right. Screens, little bubble screens. You know what I'm saying? Quick wiggle
Tyrone,
routes out the backfield.
yeah, I don't really like I don't like Tyrone Tracy. I don't think he's.
Same, same.
I think Sam Laporta eats because with Micah Parsons lining up on the other side of the ball, you might want to get rid of the ball quickly. And who's that normally go to? Running backs and tight ends.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you. Muff Divers. Garrett Wilson again. And when I look at because here's the thing, both of these rosters have players that I don't necessarily trust coming into this game. Um, and a lot of new faces throwing people the ball. Drake London now is going to be, Penix stepping into the QB1 role. We're going to get a uh, second year starter in Chicago. That should be good. Uh,
I don't trust him, personal
right.
opinion.
What is Brock Purdy going to do? What is this, year 4 for Brock? Um, so we've got some more information on Brock now. Uh, but yeah, when I look at this, I see less questions on Muff Divers than I do for Kirkwood. So I'm gonna go with Muff Divers on that in
Let's
this
see.
one.
What did our missing host go with? Up, he went with Mr. Kirkwood.
Okay. So he has a chance to jump out to an early lead on us this year.
He
All right.
does.
We're gonna go with Benchboro and Deal versus the Big Green. Both of them had seasons that they were not happy with last year. Big Green being a former champion. Is Nate also a former champ?
He I don't know if you remember this. You remember when what was it? Andrew Luck got hurt in like the
Yes.
first quarter.
Yeah.
He was in the finals
Oh,
that year,
that's right. Yeah.
and like he lost in a very, even with like Andrew Luck scored like something minuscule and he lost by like 5 or 10 points. So if he had,
Yeah. I remember
yeah,
that now.
that was the one year he made the finals, and I don't think he's been back to the finals since. But what I do believe is that he wins this week.
Okay.
Like I said, Burrow, that defense, basura caliente. So Burrow is, yeah, so bad you gotta say it in Spanish. So Burrow's gonna fire it up. He got to.
Right.
They just paid Terry McLaurin. Throw him the ball. Throw the ball to him and Debo. Just DK Metcalf is in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers loves to force feed his wide receiver number one. Throw
Yes,
him
he
the
does.
ball. That's a large target. Throw him the ball.
Right.
Josh Jacobs, run the ball down. That
That's
wide
gonna be a
receiver,
shootout game too.
it could be because Detroit's offense, even though they lost their offensive coordinator, the new one is from that regime. He came up from under Ben Johnson. I don't see a lot of changes there.
Yeah.
I think
You
James
know the
Cook.
pack. You know the Packers are not happy relinquishing that hold as NFC North division champs. They definitely are not happy by having to give up that role. So I think Jordan Love and the crew have a they want to come out and try to get an early divisional win. Because I believe Detroit beat them both games last year, if I'm remembering correctly.
Uh,
I have to go back
that's
and look.
that sounds about right because Detroit and Minnesota both had like 13, 14 wins last year. So I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
it's very possible because Green Bay, if I remember correctly, was 11-6 and made the playoffs as a wild card, and they were like number
Yep.
three in their division. So yeah, they
Yep.
might have lost those games. But yeah, looking at this matchup, I'm going with bench Burrow and Deal because like knowing my look, Meredith's team decided to go off, but
Yep.
I'm not sure about Caleb Johnson. I don't know what they're going to. I'm not sure where he. I
They
don't know.
lost. They lost two close games. Well, one was 14-24 in Detroit. They lost 30. I'm sorry, they lost 14-24 in Lambeau, and then they lost 31-34 in Detroit. So yeah, the
Yeah.
Lions did
Oh,
beat the Packers twice last year. So I'm
yeah.
sure that they're going to be looking for a little bit of revenge.
Like I said, you got that Purdy and Pearsall stack, but I don't know what they're. That's a division game,
Yeah.
so all bets are off. I don't know about Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
I
No
don't
one
know.
knows what Seattle's going to look like this year with a resurgent
I don't know
Sam
about.
Darnold.
I don't know about starting two tight ends either, but then there you go.
Let's see. Big Green, do you have a better option?
Yes, Tyreek Hill, Chuba
And to
Hubbard.
okay, you know, sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot doing making a simple thing hard, and I think that that is the case. If you're going to start a stack in this week, choosing Purdy and Pearsall over Tua and Tyreek is interesting, especially since Indiana doesn't necessarily have that great of a defense. Their secondary
Yeah,
is soft. So I don't know. Hopefully, Big Green makes some lineup changes that will render us wrong. But yeah, I definitely would. I think if she wants to give herself a better chance to win this game, she would start Tua and Tyreek. But as the starting lineups look right now, I'm going to go with Bench Burrow and Deal as well. Who did our other co-host go with?
he went. We have our first unanimous pick. We all
All
went with
right.
bench Burrow and Deal. I don't. I I'm not. I'm going to see Meredith on Friday, but I am not going to say anything about her lineup because I have just picked against her, and I'm not going to tell nobody to set their lineup. You would do as you please.
All right. All right. We got our defending champ versus two boobs, two balls, one goal. All right, let's see here. Who do I think is gonna go? I am going to actually pick against our defending champion right now. I think Josh Allen is going to get active versus Baltimore. I think that's going to end up being a shootout game. AJ Brown's going to be able to do what he wants against Dallas. Because they have no pass rush. So Jalen Hurts is actually going to have time to be able to throw the ball. And we saw in the Super Bowl what can actually happen when you give Jalen Hurts time to throw the ball. Yeah, Brees Hall's going to get the ball. I mean, again, somebody has to get the ball. Trayvon Henderson against my Raiders. I'd love to say we're going to shut him down, but again, our rebuilt defensive line, he has some chances to do some things. And Carolina and Jacksonville, neither one of those teams have a defense worth writing home about. So that's going to be a low key, high scoring game because they can't stop anybody. And you've got two good wide receivers for both of those quarterbacks to go to. So yeah, I'm going with two boobs, two balls, one go. How about
Yep. I'm in a similar boat. I think the Commanders jump out on the Giants early and they run the ball more. So Jaden
you? Mhm.
Daniels doesn't have the running game. I mean, he doesn't have the game that you would hope passing wise. He might run a little bit. This might be the homer in me, but I just don't see B. John Robinson doing a whole lot because anytime you have a large islander in the middle of your defense, it makes it a little difficult to run.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
does.
and it's week one, and we have healthy linebackers. So we should be able to stop them throws across the middle of the field that they killed us with last year. And we have actual cornerbacks that I feel confident in, not just laying laying an egg.
All right.
But yeah, like I said,
And who did our missing co-host pick?
oh, he went with who did he with? He went with my cousin. So
He just picked it. He's gonna jump out to a gigantic lead in picks this week, or he's gonna be way behind. All right. Team Fight Me Back, which is our co-host team versus Company Man this week. So off the rip, I have to say, both of you are starting quarterbacks that last year at the beginning of the season would not have been considered good fantasy quarterbacks, but by the end of the year, both of them were starting to put up pretty good numbers. So, uh, looking here, it is a tale of the wide receivers. And I think that the trio of Amon, Puka, and T are going to give you the edge over Company Man. Jacoby is technically still in the contract dispute unless something happened this afternoon that I wasn't aware of. I mean, I don't expect him to miss the game on Sunday, but he's not happy. Uh, Kyler Murray, we still don't know what Kyler Murray's going to do. Um, he has not looked like himself since after he's come back from the injury. He has not looked like the quarterback that we know. So I'm still very hesitant. But I mean, you got James Conner. And again, let's just be frank. Marvin Harrison Jr. has not been the breakout talent that we thought he would. So some of that was just him being a rookie last year. Some of it may just have been the offensive scheme. But Arizona's gonna have to find a way to get him the ball in order for him to be effective. But yeah. So I'm going with Team Fight Me Back. Who did our other co-host go with?
oh, he also picked me. How about that? We have two unanimous votes because like I said, I refuse to vote against myself in week one. I can't do it.
All right. And then our last matchup of the week actually pits me versus Hanging with Hernandez. Who do you like in this game?
Oh, let's see here. Do I pick against Dwayne just to pick against Dwayne? Oh, what do we? There's that Kyler Murray we were just talking about. I gotta go with you because I don't know who else is in New York for them to throw the ball to. I think new quarterback, same theory. We're gonna force feed Malik Neighbors. It's gonna come in handy. I the Eagles defense is not, I don't think it's as good as it was last year because they got rid of some pieces in the back end, but up front, they're still there. So I believe that this is going to be one of those games where the Cowboys get down by a couple touchdowns. They're going to have to pass the ball because who are they running backs? I don't trust them. It's Jaden Blue, Javante Williams, and I don't know who else is there, but I don't really trust them in
Yeah.
week one. And because the Eagles jump out, I, I see Devonta Smith hitting who they just played Bland. I see him hitting Bland with a double move. He jumps it, he misses, and as they called him in college, the Slim Reaper is to the crib because once if you don't tackle him, he gone. He ain't real big, but if you miss him, he gone. And because they're going to have to pass the ball, George Pickens is going to get some love, and Saquon is still Saquon. I see him running over or through somebody on his way to the end zone. Jonathan Taylor will make sure he gets in the end zone, not dropping the ball early like last year. Mark Andrews is the only tight end because Likely's hurt. I'm just going. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna take you in this matchup. I think it's a close one because I like some of the matchups that Hanger and Hernandez has, but I don't like that Xavier Worthy because we said earlier I don't like that I don't like that game
If
over
that
there.
game was if that game was in America, I
Yeah,
would feel a lot better about the potential performances from both teams. But again, international games, they're tough. They're generally lower scoring games.
like I said, I have Justin Herbert on my team, and I benched him for Drake May because I don't have any faith in either one of those teams scoring more than like 17, maybe 21 points. I see it low scoring, but we shall see. I'm gonna go with Devastator, and let me see here.
Who
Who
did
did?
Dr. Juice go with?
Of course, he went with Hangman Hernandez.
All right. Well, I also am gonna go with myself just to make it official. So there we have our first picks of the year. All right. So real quick, who do you think is going to be a breakout? Two answers. Who do you think is going to be a breakout rookie, and who do you think what's a veteran that you expect big things from this year?
Uh, bit of a homer answer. I'm going with Emeka Ibuka because, like, when they drafted him, it's like everybody's like, "Why did they draft him?" Uh, we had Macmillan, who we drafted last year. He's hurt thanks to Teddy Two Gloves and his hospital ball. Chris Godwin is still rehabbing from his broken ankle from last year. So this man just walked into a whole lot of targets. And so I believe, kind of like you said earlier, pick your poison. If you're the defensive coordinator, who you gonna pick? The guy that's gotten 1,000 yards 10 years in a row, or the rookie? The guy that's got 1,000 yards 10 years in a row.
Right.
That's who. So yeah, and the veteran who I think shows up this year, I I got him on a lot of my teams. I believe it's George Pickens. I believe as long as he doesn't crash out, I think lining up opposite of CD Lamb, he's going to produce close to 1,000 yards the same way that CD Lamb produced close to 1,000 yards lining up opposite of Amari Cooper when he came into the league.
Yeah.
And plus, like I said earlier, who's running the ball in Dallas?
Nobody.
As long as Dak stays healthy, I think George Pickens slides in at the. I think he comes in as a. I think he finishes as a top. I think he finishes as a top 12 wide receiver.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm also going to pick a little bit of a homer pick for my rookie breakout. That's of course Ashton Genty. Um, best running back in this draft class in terms of potential and talent. Uh, Chip Kelly knows what to do with an offense. So, he was an expensive get in terms of price to hire him over to the Raiders offense. But, we have a retool. We have some good weapons in our hands. And I think Genty is going to be one of those weapons that really produces this year. So I'm also gonna go wide receiver, but I'm gonna go DK Metcalf. DK had a down year last year. Year before that, he was dealing with some injuries. But when healthy, he is one of the biggest and most explosive receivers in the league. And you can say a lot of things about Rodgers. Rodgers is not going to be hitting it with 60-yard passes like he used to, but he doesn't have to because DK is a great route runner and he can take a 20-yard, 15-yard slant and turn it into something. So I expect DK to have a nice little bounce back season. I think I have him on two of my fantasy teams this year. So I'm expecting some big things from DK. All right. So as we go into week one, we have Cowboys, Eagles Thursday night, Chiefs, Chargers Friday night. And let's see, Bucks, Falcons. I will say this: the NFL is trying with the changes to the broadcast this year. Uh, YouTube's doing Sunday Ticket again, and some other broadcast changes. Tom Brady going back into the booth for year two for him and just a whole bunch of other stuff that they got going on with NFL Red Zone. They are starting off this year, and I see a majority of division matchups, or at least NFC AFC rivalry matchups. So like I said, Cowboys, Eagles, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Patriots, Lions, Packers, Bucks, Falcons, Bengals, Browns, Dolphins, Colts, Steelers, Jets, Giants, Commanders, Panthers, Jaguars, another divisional game. 49ers Seahawks is a divisional game. Ravens, Bills, and of course, Vikings, Bears. So I expect there to be a whole lot of good football played in the NFL this weekend and a whole bunch of smack talk next Monday and Tuesday as these divisional rivals get their first win or first loss of the season. So outside of your favorite team, the Bucks and the Falcons, which game are you looking forward to?
Besides the first game of the season tomorrow, I'm intrigued to watch the Jaguars and the Panthers
Mhm.
only because their head coaches are our last two offensive coordinators. So I'm just intrigued to see how that game
That's
plays out.
interesting. Okay. I am actually looking forward to seeing the Texans versus the Rams. Texans have made the playoffs in the first 2 years under Antonio Pierce. They need to see if they are going to be able to take that next step. And so, an early test of being able to get it done against frankly, there's no other word to use for it, against an aging Matt Stafford. Can that defense come out and get to him often and early in order for them to have to go to Jimmy G, which of course is Devontae's nightmare? Uh, can they get to the Rams offense early and often in order to shut them down to see what that defense is going to look like this season? But I mean, of course, Raiders versus Patriots, you know, the site of one of the most one of the worst calls in NFL history. Foxborough is the site of the Tuck Rule game, a rule so egregious that they deleted it from the rule book because it was so ridiculous.
You know,
But hey,
that's normally what happens when something happens is when the rules change, and then you're like
that made no sense.
there's
So,
a lot. Like I said, that's usually something happens and then the rule change, but it's too late for the good of the cause. For example, the catch rule was changed. It's been changed numerous times. Let's be real, but it was changed after I want to say after the 1999 NFC Championship game where the Rams beat the Bucks on a call that would by today's rules would be a catch, but then it wasn't a catch. And
well, that
you
Des
know,
Bryant has that same Calvin
yeah,
Johnson, Des
a
Bryant,
lot of
and
people
others. Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever know what a catch is. I don't think the NFL will ever really get that right. It's
Well,
gonna. I'm not gonna say get it right. I think it's just always going to be questionable.
it's
I'll
one of
say
those
that.
things. It's like I might not be able to define it, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah, that's about
uh,
what it is. It's one of those, like you said, you can't really define it, but you can like, okay, that's a catch. Oh, no, that's not. Yeah, it's one of those things. They'll figure it out. I'm just waiting to see how this new this virtual measurement they've been doing. I've seen it a few times in the
yeah.
preseason. See how that.
I mean, they've been using the technology in football slash soccer for a number of years. So it's not like it's new technology, it's just new application.
Yeah,
But
so we're gonna see how that works out.
yeah,
But
I
first, we got
don't,
to see what
yeah.
these. We got to see what happens tomorrow night because
As a football game official, I don't think that you should ever take it out of the hands of the officials on the field because spotting the ball, placement of the ball, it's eyes on the field. And the fact of the matter is that machines are not infallible. So I'm always going to defer when I can to the zebras on the field making the best calls they can, and then it being supported by technology. So we'll see how it goes. But all right. Well, that's all we have for week one. Best of luck to everybody. Please don't forget to set those lineups as the NFL kicks off tomorrow night on Thursday. So you got Thursday games, Friday games, Sunday games, and Monday game. So, yep. Good luck to everybody. And since we're not facing each other this week, I wish you luck in your game.
I love the caveat there. Yes,
Yes,
it's,
it's definitely a
uh,
caveat.
you know what?
And
You
and
know,
I'll even say good luck to your Bucks this weekend.
oh, wow. What is going on in
Hey,
2025?
listen, I don't have animosity. If your team is not facing my team, I wish them the best. I hold no ill will outside of the AFC West, of course, and the Patriots forever. So
Just you just never gonna let that one go, huh?
never. All right. Until next time, friends.